Hello, how are you? I'm Kayla. This is Flosstube number 25 and it's Wednesday, March 15th, 2023. Mr. Bean says hi, although he's not really in the mood. Maybe he'll hang out. And yeah, so hi, how you doing? It's been actually like 6 weeks since my last video. So sorry about that, but I feel like I have a decent amount of stuff to share. So let's just start. I'll do a life update, I guess, at the end. Oh, I thought Bean was gonna stay on my lap. He's thinking about it. I see his tail. So yeah, his name is Mr. Bean, but I mostly call him Bean or Bean Chunk. Okay, bye. Okay, I'm gonna scooch in now. Okay. Let me adjust you a little. I'll just see like, oh, now you see the coats, great. Okay, so yeah, so today's Wednesday, March 15th. I think my last video was like the last day of January or something. So, or the day before the last day of January, something like that. Okay, so yeah, I have an FFO and a finished, which was a new start, another new start, and some progress on some whips and some haul. And a life update. A little bit of knitting, tiny or even tinier bit of crochet. Okay, so here is my FFO. I showed that I finished her, I don't know, maybe the last video or the video before that. This is Holly by Not Forgotten Farm. And she was stitched on 36 count. I think this is called Smoke Blue Swigart, and using the called for DMC. And this frame I ordered from pictureframes.com, and then I went ahead and framed her a couple weeks ago. I won't show you the back because it's not very pretty, but I thought I did pretty decent with the margins. This is a 6x8 frame. I could have had it made a little larger, but I do like quite tight margins, so not really much to say about it. I do the pinning method generally, like a sequin pins along the side of foam core, and I also do a layer of batting on top of the foam core prior to putting the piece on, obviously. Yeah, but I'm really pleased with how she turned out. I really like her. Yay. So then I have 2 new starts. Well, but this is a finish, so does it really count? I don't know. As a new start, you know what I mean? This I've had kitted up for a while. This was Stacy Nash Primitives Prized Pig Sewing Book and Flower Urn Pin Keep. I did the sewing book with the pig on it. I haven't done the pin keep yet. And I'm not sure if I'm going to make it into a sewing book. Like, there are actually pretty nice instructions for finishing on the inside of this pattern. But I might do like a journal cover. I really haven't quite decided how I want to finish it yet. But I have had it, like I said, I had it kitted up for a long time. And just wanted to do it. So let's see, what did I use? I used 36 count gray by Weeks Dye Works. And I had 2 of the called for threads, which were Carriage Black and Straw Bonnet by Simply Shaker. What is that? Gentle Arts? Yes, Gentle Arts. And then there was 2 Weeks Dye Works colors. No. Okay, there were 2 other Gentle Arts colors, excuse me. Rose Garden and Heirloom Gold, which I did not have. And whenever I kitted this up, I put in Gingerbread and Barn Door, which are both Classic Colorworks colors. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the substitutions, although the gingerbread definitely didn't have any green in it like I imagine the Heirloom Gold did, because on the cover, this looks like a really greeny kind of gold, like, you know, a dirty gold type of thing. And this is definitely more brown, but I stitched with it and I was like, you know what, it's fine, whatever. So let me go ahead and show you what I did. It is not ironed yet. I usually iron things like before I fully finish them, and I didn't do that. So besides those two color changes, I did make another change, which was I put my initials in the wreath instead of the 1820, which is charted. Also, this little platform that the pig is standing on isn't actually there. What the pattern calls for is just a little shadow of this color underneath each of the pig's hooves. But I had made an oopsie and I made this leg one stitch too long. And so what I did was I just kind of stitched over that and just made it fully all the way across instead, kind of in my head like a platform that the pig was standing on, or like a mud. I don't know. I'm relatively happy with how the initials turned out. I took letters from the Red Letter Day book by Teresa Vinette, the first sampler that's in that pattern. No, the first sampler that's in that book. The medium-sized cursive ones is what I used. As you can see, there's a little more space after the G than before the K, and in retrospect, what I should have done is, figured out the total width of the letters and then split it in half and done it that way. Because what I did do was I just found like the halfway mark of the B, which is, my middle initial, and stitched from there. But I didn't really take into account the fact that the G is so much less wide than the K and the B. I don't hate it enough to rip it out. I might end up putting something here, or I might just leave it. For now, I'm calling it a finish. I do really love that pig. It's really cute. So, somewhat successful. Pretty successful. It's okay. I wish that was centered, but again, I don't care enough to rip it out. So, yeah. And then, what? So, I've been a little all over the place. After I spent nearly a month of being pretty monogamous stitcher, I had trouble settling on any project. And I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like I couldn't settle on one thing. I was hoping I would make more progress on one thing versus another, whatever. I just didn't. I was kind of all over the place, and then I had a few weeks where I didn't stitch at all, which I'll tell you guys about at the end. So, I don't know. But I did have another new start, which I kind of discussed in plans last time. This was Egg Hunt by Satsuma Street. This is the first time I've ever used a Satsuma Street pattern, and I really like it. I do want to get back to it. This I haven't touched in a couple of weeks. But I'm stitching it on 36 count Agave by Zweigart and the called for DMC. And it's so cute. Let me move this thread that I have in the way accidentally. Okay. And this is where I got so far. So not a ton. I'm kind of doing this part. I have to do that over here. So what I'm doing is kind of just finding places where the same color is and just kind of working in that area, skipping around to use up a length of thread or two. Because there are a lot of color changes in this pattern. But yeah, it's super fun. I mean, I feel like the colors are so much better even in person than on video. I think you can see them, but in person they're really, really good. So I do want to get back to that, but here's all the colors. You can see they're just really, really fun. Really great for spring. Oh, hold on a sec. Sorry, Amy wanted to say hi.
Hi. And also, if Heidi's watching this one, I want to say hi. Heidi and I have been working on the cross stitch you sent me.
Yeah, she did. She has been working on it a little bit, which is good.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so that was my other new start. And then, I don't know, I feel like I did more than what I have here, but I don't know. So I did work on Ex-Girlfriend a little bit. I'm working on this one right now. And I know that previous to me picking it back up, the border wasn't done, and I think these 3 words weren't here. So I did some words and finished the border. Not super exciting, but you know, we're getting there. So I really want to start finishing some of these smalls so that I have like the space in my head to start a bunch of other seasonal smalls whenever I feel like it without feeling guilty. And that's all the called for colors. I think it's 36 count light mocha. Probably. I've worked a little bit on a Dutch sampler by Kathy Barrick. So happy that I pulled this back out. What do I want to say about this? So I purchased this sampler a couple of months after my son finished reading The Wheel on the School by Minder de Young, which is a fabulous book. And that was a couple years ago that he read it because he was in 3rd grade then. And I didn't start it that right when I bought it. But anyway, maybe 6 months after I bought it. But it's been a while since I've worked on this. And now Amy is actually reading that book because she's in 3rd grade now. And I was like, man, I really gotta get that out and work on it some more. So I have. What did I do? So I'm using the DMC conversion with the exception of Willow Green, which is the silk that I am using. But I did change the pink to a darker pink. So here I am with this. The last time I showed this, which was, I don't even remember how long ago, the basket was outlined and maybe halfway or a third of the way filled in with color. So I finished that basket and I've moved up into the actual flowers and greenery. The pink, which you can hardly see still, it's quite light, but the pink that is called for, you know, I put this over here thinking I was being good to get it out of the way. The pink that is called for is 3774, and let me get out the cream. So 730 DMC 739 and 3774, these are the DMC conversion colors. Now, you can see the difference between them. Not great, but you can see it, right? Well, stitched next to each other, you couldn't see a difference. Not even a little bit. Not in different lighting, and I was just like really unhappy with it. I was like, what is the purpose of me stitching this different color if I'm not going to tell that it's different color? So I went through my stash and I pulled out 3779, which is the same kind of tone of pink. I don't know if you can really tell here, but you can definitely see the difference, and the contrast in the stitching is not as stark as this. So I'm glad with that. I'm happy with that change. So far that's the only change color-wise I've made. And I still have this out. I'd like to continue at least working until this basket is done, but it would be cool if I was still in the mood and continued beyond that. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. So yeah, that's a Dutch sampler by Kathy Barrick, and I love it. Oh, and that's on 36 count Havana by Weeks Dye Works. Okay, what else do I have? Another thing that I've worked on, I hope to finish this soon, quite soon, is I have worked on Strutting Tom by Lindy Stitches, which I started in the fall. And yeah, it's all the called for colors. Again, I think this is light mocha, 36 count. And this is where I've gotten to. Last night I was able to finish all the patterning in the one color along the belly chest area. And then I've started filling it in with the contrast color today. So then once that's done, it's just feet, neck, and head. So that should be relatively quick. And then I'll have this as a finish, which will be great. I'm not sure exactly if I'm going to frame this in a little frame or if I'll make a like a flat fold type of thing. I think flat fold would probably be more cost effective, but I'll see what I want at the end. I'm not sure, but I just love this combination of colors. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love how Steph from Lindy Stitches, how she combines colors. It's just really, really lovely. So yeah, I'm hoping to have that finished by next time, and I'm hoping to, you know, make a video before 6 weeks from now. But I guess that's all my stitching. I'll talk about knitting and crochet for just a couple minutes, and then I'll share my cross stitch haul, and then I'll do a little life update, and then I'll be done. So it won't be long. Thanks for joining me, by the way, and thanks for coming back. If you've watched my videos before, I appreciate you. And if you're new here, welcome. I hope you'll stay. So I started this sock for Amy. I think I mentioned last time Amy was asking for a pair of socks. So this is the yarn that I purchased. It's a Knit Picks yarn. It's something speckle. Hold on, I can actually have this tucked in. It's Muse Fingering Weight Delight Speckle. There we go. And so that's the main yarn, and then the contrast, like for the cuff and the toe, is Stroll Fingering in Ash. So what I've chosen to do, as opposed to my normal sock recipe, which is like a ribbed sock that I do for myself with a heel flap gusset type of heel and all of that, since Amy's feet are still growing, I decided to do a different pattern, which is honestly so simple. It's like, I can't believe I spent $4 on it, but people need to make the money. It's fine. It's a good idea. So let me find what it's called for a second. So this is by Christy Archer Designs, and it's called the Simply Irresistible Socks, the fingering weight version. It's so simple, and I was like, I probably could have figured it out myself, but that's fine. Whatever. I kind of wanted the stitch count and everything like that, so I just went ahead and bought it. It's fine. And this is how far I got. It's basically, you know, for depending on what size you're knitting, you do the cast on, you do the cuff in run by one rib, and then you've got a certain amount of stitches that is a garter stitch panel, and the remainder of the stitches are in a 1 by 1 rib. So like I said, super duper simple, but the point of the sock is that they're good for gift knits or for children whose feet are growing at a much more, you know, they're growing still, so you don't want to do like a perfectly fitting sock for it to fit them for 6 months or less. So anyway, that's where I am here. Mostly I'm working on it like when Amy has her gymnastics practice and stuff, and I've worked on it a little bit at home, but not a ton. But Liam's baseball is picking up too, so maybe I'll spend more time on that. I haven't really touched much my sweater for a little bit, and I don't know why, because really I just need a couple more rows and then I'll be splitting for sleeves. So that's a little ridiculous. I feel like there's more to show. I didn't grab it, but anyway, I basically have the whole yoke done. I just need to do a couple more rows, then split for sleeves, do the body, then do the sleeves, and then the finishing stuff. But I didn't grab it. Sorry, hopefully next time. And then the last thing that I just started today, literally while the kids were doing school, I have all of these balls of Caron Simply Soft, you know, that I've made hats from, like this. You know, this is like a half skein left, and I've made hats with it, and then I have all these different colors, and I was like, man, it would be really nice to maybe make a blanket or something and use up these skeins that are just taking up space. So I decided to start a blanket, which I have like 2 rows done. And this is, I can't remember what it's called. It's just a stitch, and I am doing Almond Ridge stitch. I watched a tutorial, took notes on the YouTubes, the YubTubs as I call it. And this is all I have done. So I just did the foundation chain and 2 rows. But it's quite cute. So yeah, that's all and I've got a bunch of different colors, mostly varying shades of blues and greens, teal, but I do have this like bone color, and I do have like half a skein of charcoal and half a skein of white. So I'm just gonna, I don't know, figure it out. I haven't crocheted anything in quite a long time, so I was like, man, it'd be good to have a project that I can just like pick up whenever I feel like it, put it down whenever I feel like it's not gonna be a big deal, you know, that kind of thing. And then hopefully we'll have a nice cozy blanket. Not that we really need any blankets, but you know. And the yarn will be out of my stash. This is a bag that used to hold linen sheets. You know, we bought them from the store, and this was the bag that came in. I saved it. I was like, what a great project bag for yarn. Okay, now I have some haul, and that'll be, besides a life update, that'll be pretty much it. So, okay, I did have a gift card for Kitten Stitcher from Christmas from my hubby, and so I think at my last video I had made an order but hadn't received it yet. So I've actually had this sitting in a pile for like all this time since it came, so I could show you guys what I got. So it'll be good to be able to put it away. So the first thing I got from Kitten Stitcher is this thread keep, which is a little chicken. I believe it's a Not Forgotten Farm. I mean, I have chickens and I love chickens, so I don't know, I just thought it was really, really cute. I'll probably just have it like displayed. I don't even think I'll put thread in it at this juncture, but. And then another thing I got, these were on sale, and these are hand forged herb snips by Two's Company. This is the little thingy, and there were 3 different sizes. These were the shortest ones. I just really liked how primitive they looked. I don't know, they were on sale, so I got them. Okay, and the rest of the stuff is actually like fabric and patterns. This is by XJU Designs. This is called Old Mushroom, and this is a fat quarter of 36 count. Sorry about the sunlight coming in strangely, but this I got specifically for the autumn cloche pattern that I have all the threads for already by Hello from Liz Matthews. I think that it would look really nice on this. So I'm sure that I'll have, you know, like about half left over once I cut into it, you know, but that's that fabric, which I really love. I'm really excited about. And then I, of course, got another fat quarter of Zweigart Vintage Country Mocha in 36 count because it's one of my faves. You should find Zweigart. Like the base is just really easy to stitch on for me. I just really like it. So yeah, and then I got Fancy Blanket Shoe. This is by Pineberry Lane. I love all the fancy blankets. So this is a nice little Halloween fall small. I got Birds of a Feather Soweth sampler. It says whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. I got Sadie Wood 1901 by Barbara Anna Designs. I've admired this sampler for a while. I just love how wonky, like the little wonkiness of it all. I don't know, I find it really charming. And then the last thing I got from my gift card spending is this book, The Raven by Blackbird Designs. This was also on sale, and so when I saw it on sale, I've been wanting this for a while, even though I barely dedicate time to quilting, and like, who am I? Because I, you know, think I can do all these crafts and I hardly have time to do enough of one that I want. Whatever, it's fine. It's fine, it's totally fine. Someday, right? Anyway, this was on sale and I started to think, oh no, what if it's gonna be gone forever? So I got it. And this is like, you know, all the blocks in there could make this quilt. I've also seen people, instead of doing the purple, which is quite pretty and I like it, I've done like a burgundy type fabric instead of the purple, which is spectacular and like chef's kiss. So, you know, someday, someday. So that's my whole Kitten Stitcher order from my Christmas gift card. And then there's just a few more things. So, I don't know how long ago now, a month ago, 5 weeks ago, something like that. There was a very exciting announcement that I saw on Instagram from 1884 Stitchery, McKenna, and she had, it seemed, gotten permission or gotten the rights to reprint Birds of a Feather charts. And Sally Spencer and Happy Heart Sampler, Sally Spencer Sampler and Happy Heart Sampler were available for sale. So I didn't wait. Usually I wait when I want a pattern, excuse me. Usually I try to wait, think about it, mull it over for a while. I did not wait. I ordered them in a paper copy. And I'm so glad I did, because it wasn't even like, it was like a week later after that, that unfortunately, I guess the deal that she had fell through. Something changed. I wasn't able to watch her video where she got to explain it. But I did receive this. It had changed prior to me receiving the order, but I still got the order. You know, it had shipped already. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm glad I didn't wait. I hope that everyone who really wanted these were able to get them. And I'm really, really excited to have them, because these are ones that I admired for a long time and never thought I was going to be able to find the pattern for without paying a, you know, a ridiculous price. And I have them now, so that's great. I better start stitching a lot, right? And then my last purchase is actually a market purchase. There are so many beautiful, amazing things that I've seen come out at this market. Like, it was really exciting. But again, I'm trying to wait. I know I have a lot of stash already, so I don't need to be going crazy, right? But I did order one thing that I just was so excited about I couldn't. And this was the re-release of Birds of a Feather by Blackbird Designs. Another one that I have just, I think so many, right? So many people have been like, gosh, this chart, I can't, you know, I hope I can find it someday, blah, blah, blah. Well, it got re-released, and so I ordered it. This was the one thing I ordered. There's other stuff that I definitely like for market, but this is the one that I just didn't want to wait on. So I got that and the DMC, because there's a NPI and a DMC conversion. So I got the DMC for it. Sorry for the crinkling, but that's right there. So once I pick out fabric, I'll be pretty much good to go for whenever I'm ready for this. Now, so I ordered this from 123 Stitch. I've never had this happen before. It smells a little musty. It's so strange. Like, there's no marks on it, you know? Everything looks fine. It just smells kind of musty. It's so weird. I've never had that happen from 123 Stitch before, so I haven't had it in plastic. I've been kind of letting it air out. I don't know what the deal is, but that's weird. Okay, so that's it. That's all the making cross stitch stuff. So I'm just gonna do a little life update. We're doing really well. I did have a few weeks that I did not stitch, and probably even long, honestly. So we redid our living room. I think the last video I said I moved my spot because I had a bunch of stuff behind where I used to sit. We were getting ready to paint the living room. So that project lasted quite a while, actually, because we had a lot of repair work, like for plaster and spackling, like not plaster, spackling and stuff like that, that needed to be done when we had moved in 12 years ago. You know, my husband and I painted very quickly, very much in a hurry, so that we could just move in and be ready to go. And he never had time to fix like nail pops and stuff like that. He, you know, he actually really likes painting. I don't, but he does, and he's quite good at it, but he didn't have the time to like do it the way he wanted. And then you move in and you start living and you have kids, and you know, whatever, life gets in the way. So, and it's a lot harder to like redo rooms when you're actively living in the house, you know? But anyway, so there was a bunch of nail pops and stuff like that. There was a new crack, not new, but semi-new-ish cracks in the ceiling from like the house settling over time, I think. I guess they weren't new. I don't know. And then there used to be like speakers up, like surround sound speakers, and there was like wire things that you run the wires through, like all around the room, you know, to hide the wire, but you could see it, like wire channels. And when we took those down in the corners, I don't know what the people who had put them up, the previous owners, had used, but it's almost like they like super glued them or something. It was crazy. And it ripped like down to the tape of the sheetrock. So my husband had to learn a lot more spackling techniques that he hadn't previously done, but he did a great job. It just took a while because he travels a lot for work. So it was like on the weekends, that's just the thing. So it took weeks of work, mostly on his part. I was mostly like the yay support staff. Good job. You're doing great. Before we were even ready to paint. And then he repainted the ceiling. It looks so nice and fresh. And then I did help paint like the walls. So anyway, our new furniture got here because we had ordered a couch and stuff. Oh, I just noticed, you can see Liam. Our new furniture got there. The room is all done now and it looks great. But having said that, during that time that we were remodeling the living room, which is generally when we have free time where we're spending our time and where I stitch, everything was in disarray. So I wasn't really stitching very much. There was like, if my stitching basket was out of the room, everything was kind of crazy. So I didn't stitch then. Then we finished the living room and I started stitching again. Then our dog Murphy got really, okay, let me get myself together. So our dog died. He was 12. He turned 12 January 31st and he was a Rottweiler. So typical lifespan is like 8 to 10 years for a Rottie. So he lived a good life, but it became quite apparent basically the week after we finished the living room that he was going downhill rather quickly. You know, we knew for a long time that he was aging and he was slowing down. So it's not that we weren't mentally preparing for it, but it became very apparent that it was like the end it's happening, you know? So, so we ended up, sorry, my son's walking past me, so I was getting a saw, you dropped one. Goofy. So what we ended up doing is we had a vet come to our home to do, you know, the home euthanasia, which was a hard decision to make, although we know that it was the right one. I think if we hadn't had her come, it would have probably happened on its own within a week with how quickly things were happening. So that was really hard, you know. And our kids, while they have done really well, and they were also, like, we were trying to prepare them for a long time about that it was going to happen at some point and how it was going to be. There's no way to like prepare them fully for that, you know. That's their first biggest loss. He's been with us since before they were born. So that was really hard. And so I did not stitch at all for probably a week. And then I didn't want to make a video either while I was like really raw. So, and then a few days later after that happened, we all got a stomach virus that my sweet, wonderful stepson shared with us again. Poor guy. So that was another thing that kind of prevented me from coming back here, but also from stitching. So yeah. So that was sad, but we're all doing okay. You know, it's still sad. I miss him. He was the best boy. So, but we did get, we had him cremated. He was like 160 pounds in his prime. He certainly had lost weight, but he was still quite heavy, maybe 140. So we had him cremated. He was quite large, but we did get his paw print. So that's sitting in our living room. And yeah. So that's that. Not to end on a sad note, but we're doing okay. And side note, back to cross stitch for a second. The one thing that my husband had a really great idea in our living room. There's now kind of like a stitchy wall that's displaying a lot of the pieces that I've done so far. Not all of them, they don't all fit, but and it's set up in a way that I can move stuff around. So I'll put in a little video of that at the end too. So thanks for listening to me ramble on, and thanks for being patient with me. I hope you're doing well, and I hope that you're enjoying your stitching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.